Now confess, you are utterly taken aback.
I am.
Difficult to construct a series of influences, each dependent upon its predecessor, that you've decided not to invest your small capital in the goldfields.
I can see no connection.
Very likely not. Security which expired in the month in which he desired you to share with him. Your checkbook is locked in my drawer, and you have not asked for the key, so...
Formally, that produces black moods and the infernal lethargy of the cocaine bottle.
Cupid. No, I have already looked him up, Watson. His family has owned Danny Dobb. About your wife, Mr. Cupid.
Well, I've always lived... It's a rare thing for me, but... Well, I had a mind to see the Queen's Golden Jubilee. Before my holiday was over, I was as much in love as any man ever has been. To my surprise and joy, she...
And come to the point.
Oh,
See.
What in the world?
Let me... Then you must go back to your Derbyshire and leave me to the lonely life in which you found me.
It's little enough to ask. And I shall never let you go. These are...
She burned the letter unopened.
Yes. Now, you must believe that. Whatever there was in her past, I'm sure it's no fault of hers.
Cupid, this letter which started your wife's torment, you are quite certain that it was from the United States?
Yeah, the postmark was Chicago.
Probably long ones.
Well, I doubt if Hilton Cupid would agree with that.
Elsie? I thought I heard the door. Have you been out today?
These two are identical.
Yes. Well, I had that one washed off. But half a dozen of my lads in the shrubberies. If this fellow calls again, give him such a thrashing, he'll leave us alone in the future.
Well, that would be one way.
Mr. Cupid, this case is too deep for such a slit. We will join you in a couple of days, and be patient.
Goodbye, Dr. Watson. I'll find my own way.
Bye. Weren't exactly sympathetic.
He doesn't come to me for sympathy.
Whoa. Sir.
Where did you...
Mr. Holmes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson Hargreave of the Chicago Police Bureau. In reply to your inquiry, Abe Slaney is one of the most dangerous men in Chicago.
Some pancreas.
Come along, Rick. Come on.
You may be able to save her, but she's for the gallows.
The gallows?
Why, that's her.
I am his friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
This tragedy. I am anxious to ensure that justice is done. Will you associate me in your investigation, or will you prefer that I should act?
With respect, Mr. Holmes, it seems quite clear that Mrs. Cubitt murdered her husband and then turned the gun upon herself.
I should think it must have happened about 3 o'clock in the morning, sir.
Where are your rooms? What did you do?
I came downstairs, sir, expecting to find Mr. Cubitt up and about chasing burglars and the house on fire.
And the bedroom.
Would you like to sit down, Mrs. King?
Open, yes, sir. We could see the candle alight on the table, and so we came in. And then... Oh, as terrible a thing as ever I saw or ever feared to see. She was terribly wounded, sir. She was moaning and groaning. Then she sort of collapsed on the floor, and she hasn't said anything since.
Saunders.
No, sir. And all the doors and windows was locked, as we had left them when we went to bed.
Inspector.
Oh, yes, sir. I've checked that very thoroughly.
Apart from poor...
Yes, it is, Mr. Holmes.
At least 20 £50 notes. Dr. Carthew, you may remove the body. Herself who shut that window. If Saunders and the cook smelled smoke and gunpowder...
Holmes? If 3 shots were fired, why did Mrs. King and Saunders only hear 2 shots?
I was awoken by this terrible bang. An explosion. In her despair. Now, do any... I am expecting a visit. Suggest you return to your patient. Oh, Mrs. King.
The L, the S, and the I. Now, next, it seemed likely to us that 2 of the messages were appeals of some sort to Mrs. Cubitt.
Well, gentlemen, it looks like you've got the drop on me, but what the hell...
Chicago Police Department will. I see that it does.
You. This is some cheap trick. Mrs. Elsie Cubitt wrote me a note.
I'm here. Abe Slaney. At Eldridge's. Come, Elsie. And your last note to her. Elsie Cubitt, in her despair, attempted to kill herself and is now at death's door.
No.
Elsie! Elsie!
I believe that she fled from America to avoid you. Because you followed her and made her life a misery.
I may have threatened her, but I wouldn't have touched a hair on her pretty head. But you're right. I sent her notes. I did everything I could to coax Elsie away, then my temper got the better of me. Chicago. What about your family?
Friends, do you call them? Killers, robbers, extorters? How can I be happy with you in that life? Please go away. Such a good man. It would break my heart if scandal ever touched him. Here's money.
Mr. Holmes, I hope that if ever again I have an important case, I shall have the good fortune to have you by my side. Good afternoon, and thank you.
And so the dancing men, which had so often been the agents of evil, were finally used